welcome to our kitchen here in Brittany in northwest France. If you're here for the very first time, you are so very welcome. My name is Jane. My husband Michael is behind the camera. We are early retirees in our mid-50s, debt and mortgage free, retired to France, and we live a very thrifty and frugal life, and we share it with you. And every Friday we open our kitchen to frugal food on Friday. So let's take a look at what I'm going to cook this week. So this week I made probably the most traditional British cake you can make, and it's a very rich fruit cake. A Christmas cake and a wedding cake in the UK is pretty much the same thing. In the UK it's quite traditional to have a 5-tier wedding cake, and one of those tiers lasts so well that they keep it as the christening cake for the first child. So there you go, it really does last. So let's take a look at how I make the Christmas cake. Okay, I'm going to run through the ingredients I have for my gluten-free Christmas cake. Let's go for the weird stuff first. Normally you would soak the fruit in brandy. We don't like that, it's not our thing. We soak our fruit in very strong tea. There's 3 tea bags in there. And then we don't buy all the different fruits, we just buy mixed dried fruits. I bought those in Aldi when I was in the UK. And we have dark brown sugar, oranges. This is very British thing to make treacle. If you can't get treacle, just stick a bit more dark brown sugar in it. This is nutmeg, ground and mixed spices, glacé cherries. Again, if you can't get them, don't worry about it, just leave them out. They are lovely though. Butter. Salted butter I find goes really well in Christmas cake. You'll need plain flour. I've got gluten-free bread flour. It was the only gluten-free flour I could get. Then you need some eggs. You need 4 per cake. I was really lucky with these. These were on offer in Lidl here in France, so I got a good deal on those. Let's pan back. You'll need quite a large baking tin. I will show you with my hands. Quite a large cake tin, and you will need some baking paper because you're going to line all the cake tin, and I will show you how to do all of that. So there's all of my ingredients for my Christmas cake. Now, all the instructions for this and all the ingredients and the recipe are in a link below to Delia Smith's recipe. What I did first of all is I soaked my fruit in 100 millilitres of hot strong tea. And I only soaked mine for about an hour. As you can see, the fruit has plumped up and it has absorbed all of the strong tea. I'm now going to show you how I line my cake tin. First thing I do is I measure a piece of paper the same size as the cake tin, but I've got 2 pieces here. I then take a long length of kitchen paper, I folded it in half, and then a couple of centimetres, 1.5 inches at the bottom, and I've cut it into frills. So I'm going to roll that into some kind of a tube. It's not easy, and I'll have a go at it. There we are, and we push it down and spread it out. I then take the other piece of paper, pop it inside, spread it out a little bit more, and there we are. There is my lined cake tin, and I've got it much higher than the cake tin itself because this cake is expensive to make. It's a real treat for Christmas and we do not want it to burn, and that's why it's always worth making sure you have properly lined your cake tin, and it's exactly what I have done. And as I'm making two, I'll make another one as well. In my bowl, first of all, I take my dry ingredients, my flour, my nutmeg and my mixed spice, and I'm going to give it a good mix. Next, I'm going to add the zest of 2 oranges, and I'm going to use my nifty zesting tool. In this bowl, I have my flour, my spices, my dark treacle, my sugar, my eggs and my softened butter, and I'm going to use a hand mixer and blend that well together. There is my beaten cake batter. All I have to do now is fold in the soaked fruit and transfer it to a tin. I have got my cake mix inside my tin that I've lined with paper. I've taken another piece of paper the size of the bottom of the tin. You see, I've folded it a few times, cut a hole in the middle of it, just so, and I'm putting that in on top. This is now going to go in a low oven on 140 or even a little less. And I'm going to put that in the bottom of the oven on the bottom shelf, and I'm going to put it in for 4 hours. And I'm not going to open the door for 4 hours. They have had exactly 4 hours in the oven, and the instruction says they should feel springy when cooked. So they're a bit hot, so I'm gonna, and that is exactly what it says it is. It feels like a mattress, a springy mattress. So there we are, and I am going to leave them to go completely cold in the tins. I think we can have a peek under here. There it is. Oh, it smells wonderful. It's really buttery. I'll wrap them up again and I will leave them to go completely cold. By the magic of video editing, here we are a few weeks later, and I'm now going to get my marzipan onto the Christmas cakes. You can make your own marzipan, however, I've bought it. It's pretty much the same price to buy it as it is to make it. I don't like the idea of making it myself. There's a lot of raw egg in it. These, there is no egg in them. And I don't know how they make it without egg, but they do. So let's go through my ingredients and everything I need. One of the marzipans I've got is ready rolled. That costs £3.50 from Sainsbury's in the UK. I also have over there 2 small packets of marzipan. I bought those from Lidl in France. Those were €1.75 each. So about the same price, UK and France by weight. At the front here you can see I have some apricot jam. I will warm that in a saucepan and brush it all over the cakes, and it's kind of the glue that holds the marzipan onto the cake. You can see my 2 cakes that I've made previously and I've stored somewhere cool, and they're ready to be unwrapped and with their marzipan. And at the back there you can see I have 2 decorative boards for the cakes to go on. I also bought those in the UK. I've not seen those here in France. However, you could just stick them on a plate. But one of these is a gift for some very good friends of ours, and it's nice to have a pretty board for them to go on. So that's a description of what's going to go on my cake. Let's get on with it. That was cake number 1, and as you saw, I used the shop bought ready rolled marzipan. The next cake you're going to see me put marzipan on will be with the French marzipan, and it comes in blocks. I need to work it with my hands a bit to soften it. I then need to roll it out with a dusting of glacé sugar or confectioner's sugar or icing sugar. And then I will do exactly the same, and I will get it onto the cake after brushing the cake with warm apricot jam. So that was cake number 1. Cake number 2 coming up. there are the two cakes. They both have their marzipan on now. They're going to get wrapped up and put somewhere cool for a couple of days, and then I'll get on to putting on the icing. Some people call it frosting, but it's very different from frosting, and I'll show you the icing next. Well, I have everything going on at the same time in this room at the moment. The birds singing at the window. I've got marmalade cooking in a saucepan over there. I've got apple pies in the oven. And I'm going to make my royal icing for my two Christmas cakes at the same time. And this is what I use to make it. I use glacé sugar, icing sugar, and I use egg whites. I will use 1 kilo and 200 grams of icing sugar, and I will also use 6 egg whites. I will also use 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, and that is it. So first of all, I will whisk the eggs, and then bit by bit, using the whisk, I will add in the sugar. Here is the finished royal icing, and it has a very thick consistency. If you've ever done any building work or put plaster on walls, it's the same consistency as a good lime plaster. So I have enough royal icing in here for the two cakes. I'm now going to get them on the cakes. Now each of these cakes weighs 3 kilos. That's about 6 pounds of cake. And as you saw, it was lovely French butter, free range eggs, dark sugar treacle. Really is a luxury cake. And if you were to go and buy these handmade cakes with that level of ingredients in the UK, you could pay anything up to £30 to £40 for it. So you're going to say to yourself, where's the frugal aspect of this cake? When I made these cakes, they cost me about €12 each to make. And one of them is a gift for some very good friends of ours. You may be asking, how can I make this at the end of November to eat in the middle of December? If I take the camera back down to the cake again, please, Mike, and I'm going to tap it. And hopefully you'll hear this. Did you hear that? The sugar on the outside of that goes really hard. when you cut it, it's quite hard on the outside but quite soft on the inside. It's not too hard that you can't eat it. So it preserves itself. So you can ice it like this a good few weeks before Christmas. You put it in a tin, you put it somewhere cool, you put it out of the way, and woe betide anybody who eats it before Christmas. So there is the Christmas cake, and we really hope you enjoyed that. More Christmas recipes to come over the next few weeks. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go on, give it a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. It's helping us grow the channel. If you're not a subscriber, go on, hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell, because we make several videos a week. A big thank you to everybody who leaves a comment. I have a question for you now, because I love this bit. I love this bit. When you interact with us, we really do value it. What do you make at Christmas time? Especially sweet treats. What cookies do you make? What cakes do you make? What special sweet treats do you make at Christmas? And I tell you what, if you could leave a recipe to share, that would be fantastic. Just leaves me to say, on behalf of Mike and I from our thrifty and frugal home here in Brittany, thank you so very much for dropping by. See you again soon. Bye for now.